So what episode has been like your favorite so far?
Oh man, none of them. Honestly, they are all just terrible. No, no. Man, there's been some really fun ones. That's kind of the thing about the podcast is I'm only gonna do it as long as it's still fun and funny and a good time for me, because I'm sure as you know, having a show is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I have a full time job on top of that. So the second it's not fun anymore, it's probably not going to work for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
And welcome to the Tiberius Show today. And as always, we're looking at various jobs and how they affect the world around us today. And today this is going to be very interesting. He's listed as a supervisor in the authorization department of a hospital. That's a mouthful, and I have no idea what it means, but I do know it has to do with like biomedical and like medical stuff, and I'm still learning that in school, so I think it should be fun. So you know what? Let's just talk to this guy and find out for real. Let me introduce our next guest, the one, the only, the amazing Damien! Who knows? We don't know his last name. I wonder what it is, but I don't know. So, thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Good to be here. Appreciate the intro. That was pretty hype. I'm excited.
So, Damien, you work in the medical field as a supervisor of an unnamed hospital that we can't name.
Correct.
And can you explain to my listeners exactly what is an authorization department and how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. So the point of our department is in order for patients to be seen at a clinic or a hospital or a doctor's office to have surgery, whatever the case may be, you have to have authorizations from your insurance company. So in order to get through the door of pretty much any healthcare facility, you need an authorization first.
So, what got you interested in the medical world?
So I was in the restaurant biz for about a decade, and I was with my then girlfriend and then fiance, and I promised her that once we got married, I would get a big boy job. And she is a nurse, and my mother was in physical therapy field for a long time. So I decided if I'm going to get a big boy job, let's follow in their footsteps since they're smarter than I am.
So, what's the largest difference from working in the physical therapy business versus working in authorizations?
I think they're one and the same in the aspect of authorizations. Funny enough, you really do generally need an authorization to do physical therapy too, unless you want to like just walk in and pay out of pocket and stuff. So the authorizations portion of it was kind of my job in the physical therapy field too. But the biggest difference for me specifically was when I was in physical therapy, I was assisting people with their workouts, with their recovery, stuff like that. And now I'm all behind the scenes as opposed to patient care directly.
So, I read in your bio that you've said that you don't love the job, but it was a necessary evil. So, what do you mean by that?
Uh, I mean that the healthcare in America is kind of inherently evil in the fact that it is so overly expensive. It is very limiting on what people can and cannot do to save their own life unless you have a lot of money. Um, and because of that, my job and our job at the hospital is necessary to combat that evil. Um, so that's just kind of the breakdown of that of what I mean. I don't enjoy the way that the healthcare system works here in America, and if we don't do it, nobody will, right? So we're kind of fighting that with this job.
So, what's one part of your work there that you actually enjoy?
That's a fun question. I think being a supervisor, my favorite part of the job is probably coaching my team, being kind of like a mentor to my staff and my the people who I work with, and getting to be creative in a field that's very corporate and you have to follow all the guidelines. Being a supervisor, I kind of get to be on the front lines of making some decisions, thinking outside the box, stuff like that. So those are probably my favorite aspects so far.
So you said that you had close to 40 different jobs. Which one was your favorite?
Ooh, let me go through the Rolodex of all of them here. Um, I would say, I would say probably either the physical therapy job that I had back when I lived in Nebraska. Shout out Makovica Physical Therapy. That was my first real big boy job after I got married. That was really fun. Surrounded by amazing people, made a lot of great friends that I still talk to now. And then that's probably tied with running a food truck. That was that was a dream that I had for a long time, so I finally got to live that dream for a couple years.
So which one was the hardest then?
Oh man, this one by far. I've had like physical labor jobs. This one is way harder. There's a huge difference between like physical exhaustion and mental exhaustion. As I'm sure you know, running this show, the mental exhaustion can really take its toll on you. I see the way you're looking at the camera.
Yeah.
I'm speaking truth to power here.
So Damien, did working in restaurants teach you any lessons that still really like help you today?
Oh man. Yeah, I think I owe the restaurant business a huge amount of gratitude for like most of who I am as a person. Obviously, first, how to cook. A lot of men my age don't know how to cook from scratch. I'm not saying that's anything. I'm just saying that I know how to do it, and that's a good skill to have. Setting boundaries is really something that I learned in the restaurant industry because if you don't set boundaries, you end up working 80 hours a week and missing nights, weekends, and holidays until you tell them, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. Responsibility, the difference between something looking clean and something being clean is probably one of the biggest things that I learned in restaurants.
So if you could design your perfect job, what would it be?
Man, probably something like this, something where I can be creative and passionate and be myself and like people come to me to get something and I ultimately not having a boss. I hate having to answer to people.
So what's the most common tool that you use every day to do your work?
Oh, computer. I have two screens. I'm constantly toggling between both of them. I my job is uh I would say 95% remote. I only have to be in the office a couple of days every month. So even then I'm on my computer. So I can't do my job in its current state without my computer.
So what's the hardest thing about working in the medical field?
Oh man. Um Probably when I don't know if it's the hardest. I would say emotionally the hardest part of it is when you've exhausted all of your options for a patient. You've done everything you know how to do. You've submitted all the documents. You followed all the rules, and the patient still can't get the authorization from the insurance company to get the life saving care that they need. That's probably the hardest part about it.
So if a kid wanted to grow up and work with authorizations, what would they need to know?
You definitely need to know how insurance works because I'll tell you one thing: insurance is very complicated, and going back to the necessary evil, it is built that way on purpose. They don't want you to understand your own benefits. They don't want you to understand how it works. You really, and it's my job as a professional to know how insurance works. And I learn new stuff every single day. There's new rules, the rules change. Suddenly, something that was in network and you're authorized for now gets denied, and now you're stuck with a bill. So, knowing how insurance works is number one when it comes to being in the healthcare business in general. Um, but part of that too, you would need to know how to speak to patients about this stuff, right? Because you're talking about people's lives, so you have to know how to bridge the gap between what is understandable on a patient level and the empathy it takes to tell them we've done everything we can. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to be seen here. Like knowing how to communicate that with empathy is probably one of the biggest parts of it. Um, yeah, and then just knowing how to be an advocate for patients that you don't even know, like sticking up for people, speaking up for people who don't have the means or the ability or the know-how to advocate for themselves. That's something that you really need to know how to do.
So here's a good time to take a quick commercial break. Let's hear it from our sponsors.
So you want to make an ad for your company, right?
Yeah, Tiberius, you want to help me?
Okay, so what's the name of the company?
PPWND.
PP what?
Professional Pressure Washing and Detailing.
So you like clean driveways?
Yeah, like that. We pressure wash commercial buildings and semi-truck and trailers.
So how would someone get a hold of you?
They can visit my site at ppwnd.com or call me at 407-900-7793.
So I just tell them to call you at 407-900-7793 or visit ppwnd.com?
Yeah, Tiberius, you got it.
Cut! That's a wrap! Just use that.
Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
And we're back here with Damien, not telling, the authorization guy, and runs a podcast. Okay, Damien, I read your bio, and I see that you run a podcast named Remain, Roam, Return. Can you tell me what it's about?
First of all, it's a mouthful. I know all about that. I have problems with the name of it. Shout out to my co-host Christian for that. The theme of the podcast is it's a comedy-based podcast that tries to decide if it's better to stay in your hometown, move away to gain some experience, and then move back to your hometown with that knowledge, or to do what I did and just completely abandon your hometown and move away and never look back to move in there. So that's the quick premise of it, but we try to be goofy and mess around.
So what made you decide to get into podcasting?
Oh man, I love to hear myself talk. That's really the long and short of it. A lot of people would give an answer like, I just feel like I have a lot to say and that I have an important opinion about. I don't have any important opinions. I don't know anything about anything. I barely graduated high school. I just wanted to hear myself talk, let's be honest.
Okay, so what's your role in the show?
I am the host. I am the producer. I am the editor. I am the guy who shows up. I am the I kind of run everything. My co-host Christian, I can say this now because he gave the okay. He recently just had a child with his wife, and so he has been a little bit busy with stuff like that. So as of late, I have shifted into kind of the all-encompassing role of the podcaster. So I'd say I'm a full scope podcaster at this point.
And that's when you get the title of the guy with the last name.
Yeah, that's
so,
what I'm talking about.
So what episode has been like your favorite so far?
Oh man, none of them. Honestly, they are all just terrible. No. No, man, there's been some really, really fun ones. That's kind of the thing about the podcast is I'm only going to do it as long as it's still fun and funny and a good time for me, because I'm sure as you know, having a show is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and I have a full-time job on top of that. So the second it's not fun anymore, it's probably not going to work for me. But so far, one of my favorites was definitely the interview with Neil Murdoch of the band Blue Nation. Shout out Neil and Blue Nation. I love those boys. It was one of the most enlightening, one of our least funny episodes, but one of our most intriguing and like real episodes. I think that was, and he's kind of an idol of mine, so it was a real pleasure to be able to interview him.
So have you like ever had a guest that completely surprised you with their answers?
Not necessarily with an answer, but one of the episodes that we had was interviewing Mike Burns. Shout out Mike Burns. He's used to be a stand-up comedian. Now he's a podcaster. We were asking him what's his go-to karaoke song, and he just busted out a Kermit voice, and he likes to sing songs as Kermit. That took me off guard, and then he went into his Miss Piggy voice, so he was singing as Miss Piggy and Kermit, and it was quite the improv. I really enjoyed that.
Okay. So what's the best advice you've ever been given, and who gave it to you?
I would say the best advice I've ever heard is don't get scared by Winston from New Girl. And of course, when he said that, he was talking about walking into public bathrooms.
So Damien, how has podcasting changed how you see yourself?
Oh man, we talked about it when we were getting ready for this. I really don't like the close-ups that you just did. First of all, that's how I see myself. I'm not, as much as I like to hear myself talk, I have a face for radio, I believe. So that's what I've seen in myself as of late. So that's probably my answer.
So Damien, how? Oh my, I messed up. Sorry. That was a funny answer.
Okay, editing cut.
It caught me off guard.
We'll go to this side here. We'll blend in from here for the editing, and coming back in 3, 2.
So what is like the hardest part about running a podcast?
Oh man, getting guests. I'm sure you guys are aware of that as
Yeah,
well.
yes, we are.
It is miserable, and then sometimes they work out. So like, we'll get a guest, they'll agree, they'll come on, and you're so excited, and then as you're experiencing with me, it's absolute trash, right? Like you get them on, you're like, this is gonna be cool, and then you get this guy Damien Don't Tell comes on, and you're like, this sucks, we're gonna have to cut all of this, right? So that's always hard. Or when you get a guest booked and then they just don't show up and don't say anything.
Yep.
That's always fun.
We've had that a few times. We've had a few where we're like, we can't use any of this. I cried during a few shows. People didn't show up. People's cats or like dogs suddenly just disappeared or something happened. And then something had to have happened on like one of the best shows. Someone was supposed to be really good, and then it just flopped, and then it just didn't go well.
Yeah. So I think we would both agree that the guest portion of having a podcast is probably the most challenging because it's completely out of your control. As far as anything else technical goes, the editing can get on my nerves, but it's strictly a time problem. Which is why tune in. You don't really hear any cuts or edits because I don't really do that many. It's kind of just what you see is what you get.
I find editing to be really easier with like a second person. Like, you're editing, but you also have a second person to like create tiebreakers because you have so many things that you want to add, but you don't know which ones to add. Mm-hmm. So like you have two choices, this question or this question. I want to have them both, but we only have time for one of them. You make the decision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I often wish I had somebody to make those decisions for me, but unfortunately, I don't have money to pay somebody for that, so I just have to do it.
Well, if you could go back in time and give your 14-year-old self advice, what would it be?
All right, I've been silly. I'll give you a real answer. I know. Realistically, the way that I grew up, I would tell my 14-year-old self, you're going to be just fine.
Okay. So, how long does it take to plan and record and edit one show?
Oh, almost no time at all. I put no effort into it whatsoever. No, I'm just. It depends. It depends on the episode. If we're just goofing around and riffing and telling jokes and being idiots,
funny.
Yeah, it takes the time to record the episode and then just put it out. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's things that obviously you need to cut, you need to remove, you need to beep.
Someone says a bad word,
Yeah, which has been very difficult for me.
Sometimes we gotta pull out the.
There you go. I have not been selected for America's Got Talent. That's unfortunate.
Well, how
Like
do you
I
stay
do
motivated
the
when you're
podcast.
tired from work or something? Like, how do you stay motivated?
For the podcast?
Yeah. Or really work.
Oh, well, I don't stay motivated for work. First and foremost, if I had to give any advice to any kids out there, don't be motivated for work. Who cares? Nothing matters. No, I'm just kidding. How do I stay motivated for the podcast is strictly because it's fun. It's fun. I get to truly take off my professional hat. I get to truly be who I want to be, how I want to be it, as much as my co-host hates it a lot of times. Um, it's because I get to truly just let loose. That's what keeps me motivated for the podcast. What keeps me motivated in general is definitely my wife. 100% my wife. She keeps me going.
Again, having that second person to help you out is really, really helpful.
Yes. Yes.
So,
She really,
why would a
she really helped
kid
me.
why would a kid listening today want to grow up and do really any of your jobs since you have so many?
I could not assume anybody would want to do any of the jobs that I've done, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't recommend it. Honestly, go do something cool. Have fun. Graduate high school, go to college, go to trade school. Do something, worthy of your time. I will be 100% transparent. I've never wanted a career. I've never had that mindset of being like, this is what I want to do forever, no matter what. I've always just been like, what's the next opportunity? Is it semi-interesting? Is it going to pay me more money? That's what I'm going to do. So I would say the opposite. If a kid came to me and was like, how do I do what you do? I'd be like, I don't know that you want that advice from me. I could tell you like what I think would be the right answer would be to stay in school, choose a path, stick to the grind, but I don't even know if that works. I've never done it.
Well, on that note, let's take a quick break to pay some bills.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
And we're back here with Damien. Who cares, man?
Who
Pod is a
cares?
podcaster and an authorization supervisor, and this is where the questions get harder. Okay? So what skills should a teen start learning if they want to do your job?
If they want to do authorization, leadership, they would, like I said, you got to know insurance. Like you gotta at least have a really good grasp of the fundamentals of it and how it works. Leadership skills are super important. Even if you're not in leadership, having some skills to lead people and to innovate stuff is always going to get you really far in life. Adaptability, because the healthcare industry is consistently changing. And empathy is probably number one. I should have put that first, but I'm not very empathetic sometimes, so I don't put that first sometimes. But that's really, really number one. And then I would say the second and third most important after empathy is Microsoft skills. Believe it or not, you have to know how to use Microsoft applications, Excel predominantly. And then I would say public speaking is probably number three, being able to talk to your cohorts.
So, what do you think is the biggest problem with the American healthcare system?
Oh, geez. I have to. Can I choose multiple? Can I choose many, many different things instead of the biggest problem, because I think
Top one.
top one, number one, without a doubt, is the exorbitant cost of
Thank you.
having healthcare.
Thank you.
That's number one. Everything else that's wrong with it is related to that. The complexity and how complicated it is to understand goes into that. They're going to charge you as much money as they can to give you as little information, as little healthcare as they can. And then that also goes into the fact that I hate that healthcare is tied directly to employment. You have to have a job to be alive. I just hate. I don't like it at all.
Man. Well, do you think big reforms are possible, or will it just be like small changes over time?
It's a kind of a loaded question. Is reform possible? Yeah, easy. Take the greed out of healthcare, reform is easy. Take the money out of it, it's easy. Do I think that's going to happen? No, never. I don't ever see that happening. But little changes happen constantly, every day. Every day something changes in the healthcare industry, and there's constantly new research being done, new studies, new life-saving drugs. So if we can prioritize that over how much money an individual who runs an insurance company makes in their pocket, sky's the limit for reform. Sky's the limit for anything.
So, how do you personally balance doing a job that you don't love while building something you're passionate about?
Yeah, I would have to go back to the answer of just I never really wanted to grow up. I don't really like being an adult. It's kind of not what I signed up for. So as much fun as I can have, as many hobbies, as many things I can do to enjoy myself, traveling is my number one thing that I like to do, which is a big part of the podcast that I have, is about travel. And it's really, really, really important especially when you're working in healthcare. You see stress is a major, major contributor to a lot of health problems. And so anything you can do to get that stress of work away from you, you have to do it. And that's really how I manage.
So, what was the biggest mistake that you've ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
I've actually been asked this quite a few times, and it sucks because I never give a satisfactory answer, because I think everybody wants one thing, right? My life is a mistake. my whole existence has been a mistake. I've been making mistakes ever since I could walk, talk, breathe, whatever. I've been making mistakes. I don't think there's one in particular that led me one way or the other. I think everything, whether it's a mistake, the right choice, whatever it is, you never know until the outcome happens, right? And so far, all of the mistakes that I've made have led me to where I'm at now. And right now, my advice to my 14-year-old self, who was full of mistakes, I would have told him, you're going to be just fine.
So, Damien, what do you do for fun when you're not working or making your podcast?
Traveling. Me and my wife have 1 to 2 date nights every single week. So we go out and try a new restaurant. One of the things we've been doing lately is we're big foodies. I was in the food business for a long time. So we would go and try all these fancy, places, scratch cooking, and these hole in the wall mom and pop shops. And lately what we did to change it up is we pick chain restaurants out of a hat. And we go, all right, these are the top chain restaurants in America. We're going to put them all in a hat. We're going to draw them out, and that's where we're going to go eat. And boy, when you end up at an Applebee's, you're really excited for the mom and pop shop down the street.
So, do you play video games? And if so, what's your favorite one?
So, taking it back to what do you do for fun, right? Video games are not fun for me. They stress me out. They make me so stressed, and it's because I want to like them and I want to be good at them, but I get so angry that I suck at them. And so it just stresses me out. The amount of Xboxes that I broke as a teenager is unbelievable.
They marked their prices, so you might want to watch yourself.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I don't have that kind of money anymore, so.
Yeah, $650 per console, and Ultimate Game Pass being $30.
That's crazy. No, I video games are cool. I love watching them. Like my best friend plays all the time, and he's so good at them. And I'm like, dude, if I could be that good at them, I would love them. But I'm
teach me, please.
bad. Yeah, please. Come on, Sensei. Teach me
please, I beg, teach me.
I know you're just pushing A B A B A B, but when I do it, I lose.
So, what's your favorite book to read?
Ooh, I would say my number one book of all time has to be House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune.
Huh?
Yeah.
Never heard about it.
It's a make believe. It's hilariously it fits my personality. It is like a young kid, like young adult book, fantasy. It's about this guy who works for the government, and his job is to go make sure that kids without homes have homes, but the kids are like, one is the second coming of Satan, one is like a bat, one is like a gnome, stuff like that. So he goes and makes sure that these magical kids are well taken care of, and then ends up, spoiler alert, ends up taking care of them himself.
Okay. Now, can you tell me that one story? Remember, this is a kid's show. But then one story, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on. You can tell me. I won't tell anyone.
I mean, you can tell whoever you want. Nobody knows my last name. They don't know where I work or my name, so who cares? Yeah, exactly. Nobody cares. No, there's a lot of stories about me that I probably shouldn't tell, because a lot of them may or may not get me into trouble. But
they don't know your last name.
That's true. I just don't want to implicate myself on my likeness. Maybe me aging horribly is part of the strategy. They can't identify me from back then,
So, what is another podcast that you enjoy listening to?
Ooh, this show. I really enjoy. Most of the podcasts I listen to are from like stand-up comedians. So like Tuesdays with Stories. Just all of the famous stand-up comedians I generally like to listen to. I don't like to take anything too seriously.
So is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you and what you do?
Anything else they should know? I run a podcast called Remain, Roam, Return. Tune in every Friday afternoon for a new episode. Shameless plug.
You know what? We're not even going to ask the next question, man. You already did it. So what is that one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
What's my last name?
What is it?
I'm not telling you.
Man, thought that would work. Well, thank you, Damien, for being my special guest. And everyone, be sure to check out Remain, Roam, and Return. So, Damien, can you stick around for Math Corners?
Oh, math? All right.
Don't worry, it's definitely calculus.
Aw, Dad, my computer's slow again and I can't play my games.
Call your computer solutions today, and we will scan for viruses and clean that computer up remotely and make it fast again. Our phone number is 407-826-0810.
Thanks, Dad. My computer's fast again. Now I can do my homework. Thanks for calling your computer solutions at 407-826-0810.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
And now it's time for Math Corners. Thank you so much, Damien, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're dealing with small one-step word problems. My dad is always good at finding new problems for me to solve, and today we are going to do a word problem that has to do with making sandwiches. Yeah, you worked in the food service, right? So, I mean, it kind of applies. I really think my dad's really reaching, though. Frank is a line cook at a restaurant, and he makes and sells 85 sandwiches in one day. Each sandwich sells for $7.50. Out of that, $3.25 goes to the cost of the ingredients. The rest is profit for the restaurant. Can you figure out how much total profit does the restaurant make from those 85 sandwiches?
Oh boy, I think I forgot my abacus. Actually, I don't know how to do that one.
Okay, it's okay, I got it. Well, first, this is a world problem because restaurants need to know its profit margins to decide if it's still worthy to stay in business. So, to solve this problem, we have, to take the total sales of the 85 sandwiches. So, you take that 85 and times it by $7.50 each, that equals to $637.50. Okay? That's a lot of money. Now you have to figure out the cost of the ingredients. Each sandwich has $3.25 in cost. So that's 85 times that, which is $276.25. Now you have to subtract that cost from the total sales. So $637.50 minus the $276.25, which is $361.25. So the restaurant made that amount of money in profit for selling those sandwiches in one day. That sounds good, but I think they forgot the cost of paying the cook and also renting the restaurant and also, all the water bill, power bill, and all that stuff. Because taxes.
Okay. They usually forget to pay the cook.
So, Damien, do you have to figure out the costs of meals when you were in the restaurant business?
Oh no, they never trusted me with math. It was never a problem.
Okay, well, my teacher said that I would use math every day. How do you use math with your work?
It's a lot of percentages. It's a lot of calculating what the insurance company pays as opposed to what it costs to deliver that drug or give that drug to people. A lot of percentages, really. That's really the only math I do on a regular basis other than simple addition and subtraction.
Well, thank you so much, Damien, for your help with Math Corners.
Oh, it was easy.
And now it's time for the Heart of the Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of the Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, nobility. Okay? This week, we're going to talk about nobility. For me, I think nobility is remembering we are God's special possessions and acting in a noble way, showing courage and honor. The qualities of nobility are goodness, virtue, honor, generosity, and selflessness. So last week, we had someone at school that was falling behind in the class. Some of the kids started to help her and, provided supportive information instead of playing games. They gave their time selflessly to help her catch back up with the class. I think this is a good example of nobility because I was playing games in class, and it's more about lifting others up instead of putting them down. So, Damien, do you have an example of nobility that you saw this week?
I actually did. So, a little bit of a story time here. So, we have a Stater Brothers down the street from us, and it's not the greatest part of town. We call the Stater Brothers parking lot, we call it the Fight Club. We've seen many violent acts and road rage take place in that parking lot. So when you go there, you don't exactly expect to witness anything noble. It's generally anger based. But there was somebody who was at the register. I think it was 3. So I was third in line. So there's somebody at the register checking out, a person in the middle, and then me. And the person who was paying for their groceries was counting out quarters and pennies and dollar bills and was trying to essentially make ends meet to pay for their groceries. And the guy behind her just pulled out his card and just tapped it and said, there you go, have a great day. But didn't it's okay, I got this. Pulled life said, oh, don't worry, lady, I'm here for you. He just just quick scanned his card and paid for her groceries, and just the look on her face was pretty it was pretty cool, especially given the history of that location.
Well, so Damien, of all of the Heart of Lion virtues, which is the one that you see the most?
In my career, or just in general?
Thumbs up emoji.
Either one, you pick. Reader's choice. In my everyday life, I would say I definitely see leadership more than any of them. My wife is in leadership. She's a nurse manager. So, I would say between her, me being in leadership, a lot of her family members are in leadership. I'd say that's probably the one I see the most.
Well, we should always try to be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
Rawr.
Rawr. And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Damien. Still not gonna tell me. It says it right down there. He's still not gonna tell me. So it has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about your work in the medical field and as a podcaster like me. Do you mind giving your social media website again?
Yes, I do mind. No, I don't mind at all. That's what I'm here for, baby. I'm here to promote. First of all, I have a nickname for you, if that's all right. Ty Dolla. Let's go, Ty Dolla. Thanks for having me, dude. It's been really fun. If you like what I've done on this podcast, if you enjoyed it at all, I wouldn't even bother tuning into mine. This is way better produced, way more appropriate, way easier to listen to. It actually has a theme that sticks on the tracks. Very well done, Ty and Dad. I don't have a dad. Will you be my dad? Check out Remain Rome Return podcast.
Also you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show, and I would like to thank WWPR 1490 AM, Canton 98, Soul Radio 24/7, EasyWay TV, and all the other stations that air my show. And please visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Oh, and Damien, who is still not gonna tell me his last name, are you subscribed yet?
Of course.
Yes. Oh, and this week, Jeff Ramsey says that this was a great show, and Philip Messer says, glad you're still doing this. So, I'm going to do my own show soon, hopefully without my dad, and maybe, me doing all the producing and stuff. And thank you so much, Phil. I remember your fudge was really good. And be sure to leave a comment on my videos, and I might even mention yours at the end of the show. And also, be sure to do this the next one on the Tiberius Show with their host, Tiberius Boy.